What's up, guys? Back again with another video. It's been a little bit. I haven't, I don't know, I've just been busy doing stuff, working like my normal job, and yeah, riding my motorcycle around too. But today I have a little bit of a project. Well, it'll probably be today and the next couple days, depending on how far along I get and all that stuff. But I want to build a new clutch linkage rod for my setup. If you guys remember, in about, I want to say February this past year, I was on a little bit of a ride about 2 hours away, and my clutch rod broke because it was the stock style, and I feel like I can beef it up. I got some heim joints, got a nice piece of stainless. I got to drill it out, tap it, polish it, make it look all good. So yeah, let's do it. So what we're talking about is this piece right here. My setup connects down there. I know it's a little bit different than the totally stock setup, but yeah, I think I can beef this up. And I mean, where mine failed originally was at this little point back here. When this rocks back and forth, there's obviously some friction on that area, as it's not just totally straight. There's some rotation going on, hence why there's kind of like a semi-spherical end down there. So we're gonna make something that bolts into the end of this. So I'll probably cut this right here so it's a nice even area, thread that in there, and should be good. So this is what we got. I got some 5/16 stainless rod. I got a couple of these stainless heim joints with male ends, so it'll thread in into the end there. The biggest challenge here is gonna be drilling the end of this. And really trying to get it as straight as possible, since all I have at my disposal is just a simple hand drill. So this is gonna be tricky. It might not work, I'm not sure, but I figure, well, I might as well give it a try and really try and get this kind of beefed up. I know I'll have to probably add some bends to this too. So, I mean, you can obviously like bend it with your hands, but I'm gonna need some bends pretty close to here. So I might have to just buy a little small little propane torch. I think would do the trick just with this small of rod. So yeah, we'll try and we'll try and see if we can get this to work, and hopefully it does, and then it makes it to where this kind of part is somewhat indestructible on the bike, which I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why we're doing this, just trying to make everything better and better. I'm sure you guys all understand. So I'm gonna get to drilling, see if I can get this drilled out, and yeah, I got a little hole. Well, I got a big hole started, which isn't totally centered there, but I have a smaller one inside of there that is pretty dang close to center. So we'll see how good we can get it. It's not gonna be perfect by any means in regards to the centering of that, but I think we can get it pretty dang close. So yeah. I can also look at the camera and see how angled my setup I guess is. There we go. That's a little better. Precision at its finest. Shout out Milwaukee Tools. So we're making progress. I'm gonna drill this, then I'll come back and kind of show you guys what we got here. Well, guys, it's looking like it might have worked. We got a hole here. It's not the straightest thing in the world, but it should be in there. It should be in there deep enough for just about this whole thing to thread on in there, which is awesome. So next up, I get to, for the first time, get to use this lovely Hurricane Blue Point snap-on tap and die set. So I went to someone's estate sale. Everything was for sale. This definitely had some seawater in it from Hurricane Ian, but I cleaned it all up, and I mean, it's pretty solid. We'll see how the taps work here. So yeah, I gotta thread it 10-30 seconds for this bad boy. So I'll get everything set up for that, and 10-30 seconds. Problem is, like, the small holder for this tap was a little too corroded, so we'll be using the big one, which is honestly probably better for this job, since stainless is always a pain in the ass to work with. But yeah, and I mean, this is going to be kind of tricky because I also don't have a vise, so I'll probably clamp this with some vice grips, but at the same time, I don't want to get huge gouges in this material, because then I'll have to sand it out, which isn't the end of the world, but just means more work on the back end, which I guess I'm not really doing anything. So what's the difference? But we're gonna get some lubricant in there. That's what she said, and get going. Okay. You guys missed it. Well, I missed it too. Supposedly a big buck just like ran down our road, which is kind of weird because we're in one of these like gated communities down here, so that stuff doesn't really happen. So yeah, I'm gonna have to clamp this up with a vice grips, which is a bummer. Maybe I'll try and get a rag around it and see if that works, because obviously by doing this, I have no way of like putting pressure on there and able to hold it correctly or hold it any sort of straightness whatsoever. So I'm gonna clamp that. I think we got something here. Rag, vice grips, my fan's on. I have to have my fan on, otherwise I sweat way too much, which you guys have probably seen in past videos. So we got some threads started here. So we're gonna keep on keeping on, and hopefully this goes well. Fingers crossed. Stainless is always a little tricky. I found that out with my other bike I have, because I built a lot of parts for that thing out of stainless, and just when you think you got it, it catches you. So I should probably, before I start trying that heim joint in here, I should really anti-seize that, because I'm not sure if you guys have had it to where you're working with stainless nuts and bolts and you put them together hand tight, and then all of a sudden you can't get them apart because they seize up. Well, if you haven't, I hope that doesn't happen to you, because it totally sucks when it does happen. I've had it happen to me a few times now. So we're just gonna get this threaded all the way down. Hopefully I drilled it long enough. I did drill it a little bit longer than the actual heim joint thread, knowing that you kind of have to do that in order to get threads all the way down there. So yeah, we'll see. But so far this is tapping pretty smoothly, which is awesome. Gonna run this out, and yeah, so I'm gonna finish tapping this. I'll show you guys what it looks like. We have success on one end, that is. Let me turn my fan off here so maybe you can hear me better. This end, all threaded and good. So Heim joint threads in here. I might trim the Heim joint. I might shorten it a little bit. I mean, it's pretty long. I mean, it's awesome that I can get that many threads in. Yeah, it's definitely pretty long, and I don't necessarily need it that long, and I don't really want to drill anymore because I got it in there pretty deep, and I don't want to risk I don't know, snapping a drill bit or snapping my tap. I think on this, so this end is the end that's going to bolt to the pedal. I think I'm going to keep a nut on this end, that way I do have some adjustability if I do need that later on in the future. But I mean, at the same time, I could in the beginning kind of roll with nothing and just kind of shorten this Heim joint so it sits totally flush, which I have a feeling I'll probably do that. I kind of want to get it totally built first and just see how this will work. So kind of my next step would be to kind of make it to the correct length and put a little bit of a bend in it. I realize my bend only has to be relatively slight, which is nice. So I think I'll kind of be able to do that without a torch, but we'll see. I think my next step, like I said, is cutting it to length, hopefully getting it the correct length, and kind of going from there. All right, so basically how it's gonna work, this is gonna be down here. I'm just gonna get probably a screw and some washers and stuff that go there. This is then gonna bolt to there. So I have a mark right there, knowing it's gonna be a little long, but I figured I'd rather start off long than short. So I'm gonna cut that. I'm just using my Milwaukee hacksaw to cut this, because I mean, I have a grinder, but I'd rather it be a nice kind of smooth cut instead of something cruddy from a grinder. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I think we got a winner here, folks. We got to put a little bend in this, because you can see down here, it's still not where it needs to be, and it hits right there. So we'll have to put a slight bend in there, but I like that. That's really awesome. It's going to give us a lot of movement, which is what's needed. That's what broke the end of this piece originally. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And I mean, super firm. I have a lot of threads going into there, so that should hold really well. And yeah, so we're gonna try and figure out how to bend this piece. I mean, like I said, it's not super thick, but it's thick enough to where it's kind of hard to do by hand, but we'll get it figured out. And then I gotta figure out how to attach it down here. I don't know if I'm just gonna run a screw through that. The problem is this is like a 10/32 or 10/24 screw, so it's pretty small in comparison to this one, which looks like it's like, I don't know, 1/4 or 3/8 or something. So I don't know, maybe I just grind that down in there. We'll see what we do. Got a nice bend in here. I need to make it a little bit better, more like in here needs to be bent a little bit more, but it will work like this. So next step, this is the part that it connects to on the actual rocker clutch. So obviously the hole in here is too small for this piece to go through. So what I'm gonna try and do, we'll see if it works, is grind this down so it can fit through there. And then I would really love to make it so I could actually thread the end, so I could just put a nut on that side, and then it's super secure. Right now it just has like a cotter pin, which is fine, but with the widths and whatnot, let's see if I can get this a little bit closer. So like the widths of this thing, I mean, it is pretty close to the width, but it'd be awesome to have a nice kind of firm kind of setup on that. So we'll see if this will work. Who knows? I mean, worst case, I can always just get a nut and a bolt and do that, but in the meantime, I'll try and grind this down. So I mean, all I have is a grinder for this. It'd be really nice to have a lathe, a benchtop lathe. Is definitely something that I would love to get in the future. Just one of those kind of like small ones. So I'll just grind this down with my grinder, and we'll see if it works. Who knows? But it's worth a shot. It's better than, I don't know. I figure I might as well try this, and then try and thread it and go to the hardware store versus just immediately go to the hardware store for a nut and bolt. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And what I'm going to try and do, I follow this knife maker. He's Housemade on Instagram. He's right in Fort Myers. He was doing this for some knives he was doing. He put it in a drill, put this in a drill, and then ran that on his grinder or his sander. And you can spin it and then just hold the grinder there, the sander there, and you at least get something somewhat even, instead of just holding it and grinding. So I'm gonna see if this works. I forgot my tripod at work today, so I don't have a good way to film this, but yeah, hopefully it works. We'll find out soon. And that grinder idea definitely was not gonna work out. I tried it for a second. I'm like, this ain't gonna happen. So went to the hardware store, got a nice long bolt there. I got a little spacer to space it off, and then just a lock nut. So basically that, and then the spacer here, and then the nut on the inside. So let me get that put together. I'll show you guys how it looks. I think this should actually work really well, and that should finish up this project. I'm gonna get some miles on it, and then I'll take it back off, kind of shape it a little bit by the heim joints, make it look finished. Obviously polish it all, make it look really nice, and yeah, another project kind of done to make the bike better and last longer. I think we got it, baby. I gotta either Loctite this or JB Weld this side because it can rock back and forth because it's on that screw right there, and I didn't really want to do a nut. So I'll try Loctite first, see if that holds. Otherwise, we'll just, I don't know, glue that in there or JB Weld it. But I think this is gonna be a really solid setup. Gotta polish it now. And we are wrapped up with the project. Let me take you guys through it and show you the finished product. I think it turned out really, really nice. There we have it. Stainless, so I sanded it, polished it. Really nice. Has a little bit of play like that, which I'm okay with. I just thread locked all this stuff, so we should be solid there. But yeah, works good with the clutch arm and all that stuff. I think it's gonna be a solid piece. Should last for a long time. Only thing I'll probably have to really replace every now and then are just the bolts that go into there and there. They might just get a little wore out from the tension on them, but otherwise it's gonna be good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya.